Hey, what up guys? This is Andrew from present or future. This video was recorded in 2017 and it's taken me a long time to get motivated to edit it. Basically, it's taking up 80 gigs of memory on my computer, and my computer is very old and I need that space so I can work on other projects, so I want to get it out. The audio is weird, I'm missing certain camera shots, I just want to get it out there. So, I'm just gonna post the raw footage of what I have mostly edited. Yeah, hope you enjoy it. It's the last B-Movie Battles episode. See ya! Welcome guys, Amy,
hey,
Sasha,
what's up?
How's it going?
good.
For another episode of B-Movie Battles.
Yay!
So today, coming back from the depths of B-Movie Hell, is the B-Movie Bag. Now we all remember how well that went last time.
Yes, it was awesome.
So it lives.
Okay.
So
You had to fix it. Did we rip it apart?
there was some rips. We tried to destroy it, but it came back from the dead. Sasha, if you want to pick the first movie, don't look. Reach in there, give us a good. Make it a good one.
Oh, look at it. Third time's the charm.
What do we got?
What is it?
Mutant!
Oh my god.
Yes.
Here we are.
So excited.
You following me, camera guy? Look at this ShamWow.
Amy was really excited for this one. I'm not so excited
We have-
for this
Yes.
one.
Zombies are on the prowl and no one is safe. The peaceful inhabitants of a small southern town are turned into hideous monsters by the reckless disposal of toxic waste. Those are toxic, capital T, waste, capital W, so it's a person.
Oh,
No, I'm just
okay.
kidding. No. While brothers Mike and Josh are visiting the area, Mike suddenly disappears. Josh frantically enlists the help of Sheriff Will Stewart and schoolmarm Holly in his desperate search for his missing brother.
School marm?
Schoolmarm.
Okay.
Rated R, 99
Zombie.
minutes, 1984.
Yes, just shake. I want your word.
Will Smith or whatever his name is.
What? Oh, here, give it
Ready?
back. Alright, Amy, go for it.
Anxious for the next one.
Please be a good one.
Can we have two good movies
Ready?
ever? Dun,
Oh,
yes. What is it?
No.
Okay.
Stone Cold.
Show the back of this movie. It stars a professional football player from the NFL
Oh,
as an undercover cop.
no, Andy,
who
from
joins
the
a-
National Football League.
Okay. Stone Cold. That looks like Terminator, right? Terminator 2.
I love it. Looks like
Fed
a
up with a
baby
system
Orville.
that allows criminals to walk free, Joe Huff is a cop on the edge. While on suspension for insubordination,
PEDs.
Joe is strong armed by the FBI to go undercover in the deep south again to infiltrate a dangerous
B-movies
white
love the deep
supremacist
south.
biker gang
Yes.
known as the Brotherhood.
Starring Brian Bosworth from
Nice.
the Raiders, right?
Not Raiders.
And now
Chicago
this
Bears.
one-
Not Major
I don't
Raiders.
remember who it was for.
This one's only
Raiders.
83 minutes. 1991.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
And it's in color.
Oh, that's good.
Color
It's
out.
always good.
So we're heading to the deep south, boys and
Deep
girls.
south.
Yeehaw!
For
Alright.
zombies
I family live in the
and
South. I love the
Zombies and
Brotherhood.
biker gangs.
Biker gangs,
Mm.
yeah.
Gosh,
B movies love.
I'm
I'm
the
so
deep South.
excited for Mutant.
not excited.
What's that
for
alien
me.
movie where it was in the South too? Bobby.
Galaxy Invader.
Yeah, Galaxy. They
Yeah.
always love the South. Everyone loves the South.
I'm okay with this one, but I'm really afraid of Mutant. I think Mutant's gonna be awful, but we'll see
I'm
what
so
happens.
excited.
All right, we'll be back after we watch these terrible movies. Oh no.
caramel filling.
There's monsters out there.
Well, what is it that you hunt, Bill?
Anything that's running away. Come think, I did a little hunt just the other day. Guess what we was looking for?
Gerbils? No, I think old Mel is into city boys, right?
Yeah, little green men.
All right, the Martians.
Yeah, some kind of perverts. We ain't quite sure which it is yet.
Okay, come here. Try me. Son of a bitch!
Joe, what the hell's going on? You gotta say for yourself this time.
You gotta clean up on aisle 4.
All right, and we're back after watching 2 movies from the B-Movie Bag.
Yes.
The B-Movie Bag, I don't know, was it kind to us? It was better than last time,
Better.
I'll say that.
Much better.
It was, compared to the first time we used it, it was a saint.
Yeah, but to bring us back to tonight, we got Stone Cold, we got Mutant, we got 2 teams. Let's
Heck yeah.
figure out who gets what.
Let's do it.
Amy called in the air.
Okay.
Heads or tails? Heads will be Stone Cold, tails will be Mutant.
Well, tails. I don't know. Tails. This makes no sense.
Exactly. Last time we
I
figured it out,
thought
it makes no sense.
whatever I call, I get to pick.
You get tails, so you get Mutant.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys get
I'm happy about
Stone
that.
Cold.
Okay.
Steve Austin, baby.
Steve Austin.
So we watched
for tat.
Mutant. We watched Mutant first. Team Mutant, if you could just give us kind of a rundown, give us the basic synopsis of your movie.
It's basically about a small southern town that has, I don't know, what does it say? There's toxic waste disposal that gets leaked, I guess, into the water system.
On purpose.
On purpose.
They put it back
By
into
Mel.
Earth. They were putting it back
They
into
didn't
Earth.
say necessarily
It
how.
came from the earth, and that's where it's going.
They're not
Right.
trying to poison the town, but they are poisoning
doing it.
So-
But we don't really know who or why.
It was Mel.
Mel, but we don't even know if that's his real name.
So the town is slowly getting poisoned and kind of turning into zombie-like, even though they actually never used the word zombie.
Right.
Do they even use the word mutant at all?
Not really.
They say
They
it's
never.
a mutation.
Yeah.
Couldn't hear half the words.
Yeah.
So it's about mutants in a small southern town.
Yep. And 2 brothers. They're kind of the main characters who kind of get stuck in this town at the same
Mike and
time that this
Josh.
is going on.
Mike and Josh.
Mike and Josh.
Josh and Mike. Josh.
Josh. Mike.
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 Mike. Josh.
Mike. Josh.
Mike.
But they kind of get caught up in it and trying to help save the town. So that's pretty much the main concept.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. Now, here's a follow-up question to that.
Okay.
Can you say that you actually saw this movie?
100% yes.
Are you sure about that answer?
I mean,
Are we talking
Can I-
visually, or could I just see the
I mean,
concept of the
No, I'm
movie?
saying could you
looked at the screen the
could
whole
you
time.
see the movie?
On the screen, I could see about 40%.
There were shapes.
There were shapes.
Basically, this movie was
And
so
blue
dark
colors.
that there were scenes that you literally could not tell what was happening at all.
Right.
Like,
The zombies didn't like light.
Yeah, that's
So-
one thing we
Right,
found
so
out.
the-
Whenever
director didn't like
the
it.
zombies were around, it was
they
nighttime.
would steal the light bulbs.
Yes, they.
But it was also nighttime in real life.
They pretty much lit this movie with one flashlight. Like that was their lighting budget, was a flashlight.
There is a possibility that was an actual creative decision to be like, guys, wait, oh my god, I know what we'll do. We'll light it with a flashlight. It'll be artistic.
It'll be
Yeah.
so moody.
I did think maybe it was actually, but
So bad, I think. it was
somewhat.
So, guys, give us a little bit of Stone Cold. Tell us, the overview. Clean up on aisle 5.
That's wrong Stone Cold. Come on, Sash.
Stone Cold Chris Bosworth. Or Brian, or what's his name? Brian
The real guy, Brian Bosworth, who was a football player for the Seattle Seahawks.
For 2 whole years.
And then he went on to star in such quality films as Stone Cold.
Aaron,
John
lay it out, bro. What is it really about?
So basically, was his name John or Joe?
Joe.
Joe. What's his name?
Masquerading as a John.
Joe Huff.
His name
Yes.
is Joe Huff.
But he
Joe
also
Buff.
is undercover. Oh yeah. He's a cop, and he is on a 3-week suspension. And for some reason, the FBI hears about that. They blackmail him into going undercover.
In, I believe it's Alabama, and then they make him go to Mississippi.
Yeah. Because he's taken down more biker gang members than anybody else.
Oh, that's right. And so he gets blackmailed into getting into this biker group, and all kinds of calamity ensues.
There's a threat against the Attorney General.
Right.
So they're like, we gotta stop this gang before they carry out their threat. He's like, yeah, all right, whatever, man. And they do blackmail him. He's like, yeah, I'll serve by 3 weeks. And he's like, oh, it looks like it just became 6 months. Like,
No pay too, right?
Yeah,
no pay.
And they're like, you can't do that. He's like,
And he's got to feed his lizard somehow.
Yeah, he's got to feed the lizard. That's the thing. And it's an actual lizard. Not
That's not a euphemism.
Feed the lizard.
He literally has to feed his iguana lizard.
I think the best thing about this movie is there's so much action that's not really plot driven. It's just great.
Yeah, you get a good plot at the beginning, and then you get a crap ton of action, like the Terminator. Of which this clearly,
is not of course, that's not a blatant ripoff.
Clearly, it's a ripoff.
Inspired,
But
clearly inspired by the Terminator.
Yeah, both covers not in the movie at all.
Pretty much nothing to do
No.
with the movie. Like this creature,
Which was a little
Not in the movie.
disappointing. Yeah.
no, that is
Disappointed.
yeah, that's really not in the
That
movie
is
at all.
true. Not even remotely. I mean, his face was at least in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a cybernetic eye that
No,
they're showing there.
or those sunglasses. He has those
That's
little
what I mean.
square blue ones.
Yeah.
They don't show
But his face.
They don't show the mullet though. That's a big part of the movie.
That is
I
a
think
big
we'll
part.
probably hit on that, but that's a big part
Not
of
only
it.
does he have a mullet, his jacket has a skunk mullet on the shoulder, which is pretty impressive.
And it's loose, so when he rides, it flaps.
Would it be fair to say that both these movies have something in common in that not really much happened?
Yes.
I mean, we have a ton of action.
Like, things happen,
Yeah.
but when you look at the whole of it, a lot of what happened in your movie didn't even matter. Because the ending, like, what he does throughout the movie doesn't pay off in the end.
that is actually very true.
Same with these
And
people.
same with ours, yeah.
This guy loses his brother at the beginning of the movie and then doesn't mention it at all.
And he's
Until, like,
there,
a year
like,
later.
dating a lady for a year.
Yeah. It's just
Could
a
be 2
lot
days,
of
could
just.
be a year, we don't know.
Our movie was probably only supposed to be in like a 2-day period, I'm sure, was probably the original concept that you would think. But because there was so much night and day, it did really feel like it was like a whole week long. Like it just, I don't know. But anyway.
For the actual viewer,
Right.
it felt like a whole week.
Yes, it did.
You know a concept of time in this little small town. So either team, can you just give me some like things that you actually genuinely liked or enjoyed about your movie? Like some positive things about your movie.
Well, let me
Let's get my list.
Shit,
Here,
here's
my
a list.
list.
I like the one thing I did appreciate about this movie is it did not end at all how I thought it would end.
Subverted your expectations?
Yeah, like in a at first it was like, oh, why? And then I was like, all right, like I can dig this. In the end, like it's crazy because like the bad guys achieve their goal.
Yeah.
He stops no one, but then he like kills all the bad guys except for Chains. He gets arrested, and then like tumbles on the stairs, and then he just like walks out and like rides off whatever he.
That whole time he was undercover didn't mean anything because the bad guys win. Basically, they accomplish their goal. They all die.
They're trying to kill Whipplespoon.
Whippleton.
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 the Attorney General.
Everybody had a nickname.
And they kill him.
They do kill him.
They kill him. They kill
all the judges of the Mississippi.
All the witnesses, everybody. They kill everybody.
They kill everybody.
So really, he failed pretty hard.
The only
as a
thing
cop.
he did, he
gave him real drugs,
well,
too.
He gave them real drugs.
And they got it for a little bit.
He's the worst.
So what they do is,
but he looks so good doing it.
It's true though. That mullet, I can't deny. He looked real good.
He's got the like the 80s good looking like meathead look.
Yeah.
He's like a handsome guy, but like when the camera was like up in his jaw, you're like, oh, jaw, dude. There's a lot of unexpected. Like, I did not expect to see tons of boobs and butts. Did not expect
Stone Cold?
it.
Really?
You didn't expect that when there was a biker gang?
I mean, the last rated R movie we watched had just like blue bubbles, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
true.
Mutants are, and there was like very little gore. I mean, maybe like gore, if that. Like there was like mayonnaise seeping out of
Some
him.
squid.
Yeah, like
That's about it.
mustard.
We
Yeah.
had just like full on.
Yeah.
We almost had full on nudity.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
The camera was this close to like the underside of a stripper's butt.
Yeah.
So apparently
You
that's
just
burned
love
into your
those
memory,
shots.
Sash.
Just saying.
Anyway.
I'm not saying I enjoyed it, and I'm not saying I didn't.
Please tell us, because this is a key important part of your
Okay,
movie,
sure.
how the Deep South invented walkie-talkie to telephone technology.
They're just so advanced. I don't know.
This is Dawson. That's a negative on that backup. You're on your own now.
Captain, I've got a homicide here. I must be somebody can send out.
You don't even think about it.
And all of a
Don't
sudden,
even
I'm
think
just
about
like,
it.
wait a minute. How is he on the phone with
He's
me?
on his car radio, and the captain's on his phone, on his desk
Yo,
phone.
listen here. Wait, you making wasting my time. It's like, well, fine, click,
That's so good.
click. Amazing. Hey, the South
That
is way ahead of
was-
its time.
That was
It's-
amazing.
The South has space invaders. The South has the hillbilly, like, racists. The South has, like, the mutants. The South has...
Both movies were in the South.
The South has,
Yeah.
like, Crazy Lance Hendrickson, like, the Brotherhood.
Which movie do you think portrayed the South as more racist?
As more racist?
Wait, this one had a
Racist.
bar
Full
full
of Confederate
of
flags.
Confederate
Ooh,
flags.
but that one had Nazi flags.
But they
That's
both
true, that's-
had an African American guy like
At
They
the top?
did.
the lead.
That's true. Well, see, the thing is, they had a Nazi flag, but Nazis just didn't like everybody. Like Confederacy, like the Confederate flag is used against like black people.
Should throw
It's
some.
like
Tilly Tubby.
Tilly. Tilly,
Dog snoring.
hi.
Jello face.
wake up.
You wanna ask that question again?
Yeah. So which movie would you say portrays the South as more racist?
Stone Cold.
Uh,
I think Mutant did.
I think Mutant still
Just
does.
because also the Southern people were like, "Hey man, like you coming in there in my small town?"
Well, they weren't racist. They were just like
They were
against
just-
city slickers.
Yeah.
They didn't do
That's
anything
not
with
a race.
race in our movie, actually.
Yeah.
There really wasn't anything in ours either.
I tail it back to your fancy little condominiums. It's about time you start a lesson.
We're gonna teach you city boys how to drive.
Wanna play? Come on! Yeah, you hog-jawed city slicker!
One thing though that was a little odd, like with Mutant, they definitely sounded like they're from the South. They were like the dirty, rednecks, you know. Yeah, like you couldn't understand what they were saying. And then Stone Cold, that was interesting because it was like Alabama, Tennessee, and they've got like or Mississippi, and they've got some thick accents
They
down
do.
there, and nobody in that
Mississippi.
movie
Well-
Look at
had an
Timar,
accent.
like-
Well, no, I mean I think the guy that was what was his whipper like Whipple Tim, he had like an
Yeah,
He did, you're right.
he had an
did.
accent. I think like some of those people like they were
Georgia.
that they were like the people that you're like really throwing me off here, dude.
It's
But yeah.
like they wanted it to be kind of like give it that racist feel, like with the Southern rebellion, but then like nobody had an accent. So I don't know. I thought that was interesting.
I think most people aren't very good at it either.
Yeah.
I feel like they're like, you should probably do it for only so long.
As evidenced by Mutant.
Yeah.
Goodland's right on up the road there. Can't miss it, just about a mile. Hi, my name's Mel. Remember me?
Yes.
That
If
lady.
you try a whip,
Y'all boys were doing all right
yeah,
here.
if you try a Southern accent, and that's the thing,
guys
like
want some
people.
sweet tea?
Someone asked me a long time ago. They were like, hey, like I have to practice the Southern accent for a thing, and they demonstrated it for me. I'm like, it sounds great. I said, ease it back. I'm like, take like 15% off.
Right.
Like it's good, but it's too thick.
Too easy to go overzealous
Yeah.
with a southern accent.
Well, and like anything like with an accent, I feel like it's tough to like continue it.
Right.
Like it's easy to do it like for like a sentence or something like that.
Like 30 takes in.
But like if you're doing it for like, you know, all those takes, or if you have like a long like dialogue, then all of a sudden it's gonna start to change, and by the end you're like, you sound Scottish if you're not careful.
Right. Yeah.
I'm from the south, I'll tell you.
From the south, laddie.
So how about this?
It's my wee son, Gimli.
Which movie would you say you had more fun watching?
That is really hard to say.
I want to tell the truth. I don't want to be like
Right.
for my side or
Right.
anything.
No,
But
I'm just asking.
like, it was the other one.
I would say Stone Cold
Really?
too. Yeah.
You had more fun watching.
Yeah.
I would say it was more fun.
I was just really tired, so I fell asleep. But because it was still a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I had.
they had
I
cool
had
guns.
A mix.
They did,
Okay, with,
yeah.
with Mutant, I had both a mix of like we laughed and made fun of it, and there was moments I was like, oh, that's cool. This movie, I was able just to riff the whole time because you could see everything. Like
It was a decent quality.
The production value gave me enough that I could make fun of it,
Mm-hmm.
and therefore I laughed a lot. Now I don't know if there's ever there might have been one moment where I was like, oh, that was a kind of a cool like shot or
Mm-hmm.
effect. So I didn't have quite as much. I had a better balance in Mutant.
See, I thought we laughed more watching Mutant.
Well, I think I had moments where I laughed harder in Mutant because of the silliness, but I had more volume of laughter throughout this movie.
The laughs were harder, more.
It was more ridiculous.
Yeah, because it
The
was.
higher
Laughs were
budget.
harder for Mutant, but more for
Gotcha. Can you guys give me like maybe one of your favorite scenes, something that really stood out, like something that was made you go, I like this movie, like, or just tell me like one of your best scenes in your whole movie. If Stone Cold, you want to go first?
Yeah. You know, I'm just gonna take a stab at this.
Take a stab at it.
Well, the scene I thought was really cool was this moment where Ice gets killed, and they bury him, but they do this in the super cool.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. No, like I don't know if there's like one moment, like one specific moment. The action in general was awesome, but leading up to it, they did save their greatest set piece for the end.
Right.
When Chains, okay, Lance Henriksen, great performance.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he's great as a bad guy. Like he works. Like he's got that throaty. Like I've been smoking for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm the bad.
He's a good actor. I don't know if I buy him as like the head of a biker gang necessarily, but he did a good job.
They're like, dude, just laugh all the time. Pretend like you don't care. But anyway, like he's dressed as a priest, so it's like this cool like little disguise thing. Then he reaches under like the desk thing, pulls out a friggin' MP5. Okay, first of all, there's a funny moment where he realizes there's a part where they set up like the drugs bust sting, and then Stone Cold to look cool, like shoots. He's like, yo man, he's like, I'm gonna get paid 50 grand. I want 10%. And he's like, well, you don't negotiate. Boom, shoots him. Turns out it's a cop. It's like a whole fake thing. They pick him up and he's like, sweet. And then he shows up to the courtroom, and then as they sit down, the cop, he's like, oh crap, recognizes it because he's like looking all like panicked. And then you see Lance, he's like pissed. Like you see him getting like he gets so salty. And then he just like pulls out the gun and he's like, this time it'll be for real. Shoots through him, starts like hitting people, stands up, mows down the entire judiciary, like all the judges, just starts mowing lawyers down. Guys come in, and then they succeed in their goal, which again, because it was so like, oh my god, they actually did this.
Yeah.
I liked it because I'm like, this is crazy. Like they achieved their bad guy goal. Like they totally what did they clip? What did they say? Clip the wings or whatever? Whipple?
Oh,
whip the okay.
They crapped the whip.
Whip the
Well, I mean,
Whip the whipple.
Crapped
Whip the
the
pickle.
whip.
They cracked.
They cracked the
They
whip.
cracked the whip.
So
They
they
did the
succeed.
pickle.
He mows everyone down. All of a sudden, like the truck. I was expecting the truck to have explosives, right? because like they disguise like you
Because
see
all
them, you see
vehicles
them-
explode.
Yeah, like you see them disguising the truck, and you think, okay, like there's some kind of bomb because, or just a few moments ago, before you see the truck, you see them flying in a helicopter, and they have a bomb attached to John,
Like an old style, literally TNT wrapped with wire.
wrapped with wire, like an alarm clock.
It's like the A-Team, basically.
Yeah. So you're expecting this truck to have some sort of explosives or something in it. They back up the truck and like motorcycles come ripping out through the glass. Guys are just throwing themselves through windows, rolling around like just shooting people, and like so that the whole action set piece. And then they're ripping on their bikes around like Batman, like the Dark Knight style, inside of this like government building.
Courthouse, yeah.
Yeah, but there's courthouse, and they're just like right up the stairs, riding around like just shooting people, and then like the bikers are like sacrificing their lives, and then there's a freaking helicopter. I like that whole set piece because it subverted your expectations. It delivered on some really cool action. I mean, you just like squibs, like actually like blood exploding everywhere. And then the helicopter gets blown up, and then there is like the fight between the two heroes, like the bad guy and the hero. Like the two main people do actually kind of duke it out, and then like he just rolls down the stairs, and then like you expect him to like, and to subvert expectations, I fully expect him just to kill him. I'm like he's gonna like, because he's literally killed everybody. He has killed everybody. His girlfriend, the attorney general, all the judges, and I'm like, okay, this guy's dead. Like, I mean, I expected him to.
He does get some kind of sweet justice though, because he puts the gun to his head and he's like, "Say goodbye to your future, because you're not in it."
Yeah,
and it's like click, click, and like because they did that to him.
Yeah, he's like, and you see like Lance again. Good.
That was a good payoff.
That was
because it was perfect, like perfect with the whole putting the gun against his head, not end up having a bullet in there.
It was a callback to a moment which I didn't expect to happen because I'm like, this movie's not that competent. He's gonna kill him. He's gonna kill him. He's pissed, and then it's like this poetic like this. It ends the circle, the loop, and he walks away like a badass. And I was like, that's like a really cool sequence of events because then you actually see government soldiers. Usually government soldiers are like red shirts. They're like klutzes and clowns, can't do anything right. Like you actually see them waste a couple of guys. Like a bunch of them get wasted, but then you see them like mowing down bikers. So you see both sides like winning and losing, and then like all the bikers get killed.
Right.
And you're just like, oh my god, like no one got away. Nobody got away except for John because he's
stone cold.
He paid money into this movie.
Yes.
And he's the hero.
He is the hero.
It's a good point. It was a good set piece.
The set piece was I actually enjoyed watching it. I was like, this is really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How about Mutant?
What do you want us to say? Our favorite
scene or a really good scene or something that you really like?
Probably when all the kids were reaching through the window.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Like it was like when the zombie breakout happened.
Yeah,
was probably when it got better.
Yeah, when it really started to pick up towards the end, that was good. When they really realized that the zombie virus or whatever it was spreading. I thought that was good.
And in the Goodland school.
Yeah, I mean that was like a little.
Goodland?
Yeah, the whole town was like Goodland.
Yeah, it was so full of like
little nuggets.
Yeah.
Where, like it's like it was just like that close.
Yeah,
you were that
it was,
close to
but that's what made
nail
it.
to, like,
That's what made it B movie. Yeah,
Were you gonna say something else?
I mean, another scene that I liked was I think it was the very end. Should I talk about the end?
Yeah,
I mean, is that okay?
They just told us theirs.
Was basically the cops. It was probably another district or whatever. They were in contact. We weren't quite sure, but they were in contact with like another district or another county. They needed backup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, we need help over here.
And I actually really liked this scene at the very end with all the cop cars were lined up, so you could see through the window. And
they
it
were
was kind of dark.
Zombies were light sensitive, so they had all the blue lights and the cop lights, and everybody surrounded them, and then they just like mowed down the whole zombies, and I thought that was pretty cool. So they contained them and took them down, and even then the zombie. I think that's when the zombie one was like on fire, and I don't know. I think that was pretty awesome.
They made like Molotov cocktails and were lighting them on fire.
Mm-hmm.
People were on fire, but they didn't have like obvious fire suits.
Yes.
Right. That's probably because of the poor lighting.
Yeah, probably.
That's true.
Yeah, I did notice that. I'm like, these people like. The stunt guys are on fire, but they look like their clothes are on fire.
That's like a running thing with B movies. Is like stunt dudes are like
More stunt
more in danger.
His head gets run over in the one movie.
Yeah.
Wait, and what?
Warriors of the Wasteland. His head just gets run over.
No, it was
A guy does some
Laser Mission,
parkour
too.
off the.
Laser Mission. The guy gets his head.
Yes. Oh yeah. What
But
was that?
in your movie or what?
The one character just dives out of a window and like parkours off
window,
a porch.
And like lands with his knees locked, and you're just like, I think he just broke his knees.
And then like
but then
he keeps
ran.
acting and like runs off.
And we're like, that guy probably collapsed like as soon as he got off the screen. But that was pretty impressive.
I will give that to you guys. Like the end set. I was actually, before you even said it, I was thinking in my head. I'm like
It was pretty impressive.
It was
the
fun.
setup. Like you could see again, whoever was doing blocking, like the cinematography with the blocking, someone really thought it through and really like was trying to go for creative. In the middle of this like last stand, gun him down.
Yeah.
Like the cars in the circle and the lights and like the silhouettes.
Yeah. And they flipped a car and it caught on fire. And then there was a building on
So
fire.
they did have a lot of action scenes.
It's like they were trying. They were like always so close.
I think too they were trying to have a build up. It just felt a lot longer. Like I appreciated where some people were dying and we weren't quite seeing who was doing the killing. I did appreciate it, even though it took a little longer here and there. But like the part where was it Josh or Mike? I don't know. Mike looks under the bed. There's nothing there, and then all of a sudden he gets pulled under the bed. So that was pretty exciting. That kind of kicked it off. We're like, that's crazy.
Right.
It took a while to really see what then was going on, but I liked the build up because then at the end you actually got to see the special effects and what the zombies looked like.
It was hard because they weren't. It was tough for me because the cop thing did surprise me a little bit because unfortunately there wasn't like the climax wasn't there wasn't an end goal like we are going to this place to accomplish this goal to stop to do this thing or to save this person or to just escape. They were like they were just kind of like getting ambushed again and again and again, and all of a sudden the kids came flooding out and you're like, oh my god, there's zombies everywhere. And then like they're trapped and then they're like really trapped and they sacrifice Billy, then they get away and then they're trapped again. And like the car rolls over, and then like they get trapped, and then they have that little moment together where he's just like, "I love you, Mary," or whatever. Holly.
I've known you for years.
Yeah. and then he's like cocktail, like Molotov cocktails, and you're like, "All right," and light some zombies on fire.
Yeah.
And they can run out, and like the bad guy's like, light on fire, light on fire, light on fire, and then out of nowhere, just like zombies just getting shot, and it's like, and you're like, "Whoa, wait a second, what?"
And they're just
and then they get rescued.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing for me where I was like. That came out of nowhere, and they're like, "Wait, what was the goal? Like, what was going? What were they doing? They were surviving."
There was that had good payoff. There was one other moment I thought was kind of funny that had some payoff. Was the part where Mike is still looking for his brother. This is like a couple days later, or Josh is still looking for his brother Mike, and Josh comes running back to the bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
And the old lady's like, what are you doing? And he's like, I need to find my brother.
He talked to somebody before that about it.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, she's not there alone. She has a daughter.
So then he's like, I'm going to go back to this house and find him. And the good payoff was the part where she pushes him into the basement, right?
She locks
but
the door
then
behind him.
he ends up coming back up, right?
He walks in and shuts the door behind him.
She locks him down there, though.
Yeah.
But then he makes it back up, and he basically throws her down the steps.
And she's like, no, I'm your mother.
And he's like, nope. And he just like shut it and threw her down to the zombie.
The daughter is a zombie.
Yeah.
The mom is like feeding her because it's just like any zombie movie.
It picked up its steam.
Are the creepiest.
Yes.
Hella creepiest thing. Even the school basement is like a dungeon.
Yeah.
In her basement, there was like all kinds of chair legs hanging around.
Yeah. That
Probably
was
just like
interesting.
it was like a zombie daughter locating device. Like just hear like.
Yeah.
They probably had a small room.
Oh, she's over there.
How can we make this room look bigger?
But that had some payoff because that was the moment he found out his brother was dead. She knew he was down there.
Right.
And then he was just like,
he really squeezed his brother when he was having that.
Yes, he did.
Scene. He was just like.
It was acting.
That was all we got. We didn't get a fight between the two of them. We just got to listen to Nye complain about Josh and his driving, and then he dies.
Yeah.
And then he gets squeezed.
Yes. But the old lady gets pushed down the steps.
That was awesome.
That I was like, ooh, that's
Excellent
some
moment.
good payoff.
And Mike's shirt was always open for people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he had abs.
He had abs and pecs. I know for a fact that the actor was like, look, like, we're in the South. I just want to have my shirt on.
I got
Yeah.
this body.
Yeah,
just
show
to
it
show
off.
it
The
off.
only reason they
Pretty
knew
much.
they were city folk was because his brother had his collar flipped up and it was white.
And they were driving this like city standard Camaro, which they just ditched in the creek. They never cared about it again.
Yeah, and they smashed into a truck thinking it would do something.
Right.
But
Instead of
whatever.
just pressing the gas, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I'm
racing
sure
away.
a Camaro could go a lot faster than an old Silverado or the heck that was.
Or smashing on the brakes and letting them go past. Hey,
All right.
you know what? Those city snipers, man. Woo.
I got a few questions. I got a question each for each movie.
Okay.
I'll start with Mutant.
Okay.
I brought this up towards the end. I just want to get your opinion. I said this kind of feels like the most realistic zombie movie ever.
Yeah.
And when you guys are talking about it, because if a zombie outbreak did happen, realistically it wouldn't take over the world.
Right.
Because zombies are susceptible to weapons, and you can shoot them in the face, and you'd probably wipe them out. Also,
Same thing with monkeys.
Yeah.
Depends where it happens, I guess.
Right.
If it's a crappy
True.
southern town.
Yeah. But
Easy to take care of.
The resolution is the police come in and they shoot all the zombies. Issue resolved, right?
Right.
So it kind of makes sense, and it seemed pretty realistic when you think about it. Also, it makes sense for the characters to not really have a purpose because they're just running around a town.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that this could be adapted into like a better movie? Or do you think it's just like a lost cause as a movie? Like basically there's nothing redeemable about it?
No. You mean, is it good, like the storyline itself is good enough to be remade?
Right.
I think so.
I think so,
That's
yeah.
what I was saying earlier.
Right.
I think the concept is
wanted to
very
It'd
good.
be a sweet
I wanted
new
you to
movie
expand
if they
upon
did
it.
it.
I think it just became a B movie because it just didn't quite hit the marks.
The technical
But that's
flaws.
what made it charming. But the concept itself, I think, is really good.
See,
It's-
I
it's
would
the
disagree
chemical.
with technical flaws. I don't think it was technical. It was creative flaws because they hit their VFX really well.
Well, yeah, they did.
They would have had to
It was
explain
the
a lot
story-
more.
It was the story and the dialogue that really
Right.
suffered.
Like
Yes.
script and everything.
Yeah.
And then Stone Cold. Do you think this movie is too good to be called a B movie?
That was actually one of the things I was actually gonna like. If it was gonna be asked, I was gonna talk about it. Was it's like I feel like this is probably like a B plus or like an A minus.
Right. I just want your opinion. Like, do you think it was too good to be qualified as a B movie?
I feel like the production value, like, I feel like usually we're used to a certain class of movie,
Right.
and like that would be more familiar to me.
Yeah.
Like I compare this one a lot more to Spookies.
Or yeah, Mysterious Island.
Yeah, Mutant just had like that kind of feel to it. This was like pretty close. I feel like they like.
This
it's
was more like our first B movie battles with like the
Street Fighter.
Street Fighter and stuff.
Right.
Warriors of the Wasteland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the other thing about Stone Cold is it like it was. It is a B movie though because it's kind of like you could have taken this movie, not put Arnold in it, but
Right.
like because Arnold wouldn't fit into this. But like
I'm here to join the gang.
I'm not an undercover cop.
He does ride a motorcycle in Terminator.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you could put like a good action star in here, and it could even been even better. So
Gotcha.
That's true. A movie like this movie as it stands, you could probably find on like USA at like 1 p.m. on like a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's good enough to actually probably get actual TV like syndicated airtime.
Right. Well, it had a budget, bigger budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about half of it
even
would be
then-
cut out though.
What's that?
Well,
Half
that's
of it would have been
true.
cut out.
Yeah, I mean, like a censored version, I could see.
We like zoomed in on just this part of his face, so you wouldn't see anything.
Well, I mean, you don't really see her naked in his apartment. Like you see, like they'll show side boob and like side nudity, but like with the obvious, like a lot of the.
It was really the biker gang.
Yeah, the
area.
biker gang, and also the strip club probably what they'd slice.
Yeah.
it out. But like this movie, like I could see being, or like at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
when they're showing all this stuff on like whatever
TNT,
like yeah,
that kind of-
TNT.
Yeah.
Like 1 a.m. it would actually probably make syndicated airtime, and that is true. Like I think because not only is it technically sound, whether you like the plot or not, the plot makes sense. I mean, he doesn't really accomplish. I mean, unless they tried that all on purpose. Unless maybe they were like, hey, on purpose, we're just gonna throw everyone for a loop.
Yeah.
Maybe they did it on purpose. Maybe they were. I don't know what they were going for. And they like didn't think that they were subverting the tropes. But they did, like, you know, the plot kind of built up and then it happened and then you're like, okay, they're trying to stop the thing. It didn't work, but the hero walks away. I think so.
Okay. You think it's qualifies as a B movie?
I think it's like a B plus, like with there. Like maybe an A minus if I'm feeling really generous. So.
Okay. I've heard, I think what I need to hear, is there any final things either movie wants to say, either team wants to say about their movie before I make my final judgment?
Yes. I'm going to crap on their movie.
All right.
No.
Our movie's creative, and that one is very Hollywood.
Stone Cold used weapons that don't function well in real life.
But movies do that all the time.
It's called the Calico pistol.
Dan bringing out the big guns.
Oh man.
Technical on it.
You were making a lot of comments.
He did shoot a beer can. Well, he tried to shoot a beer can off of somebody.
Yeah.
Go for
People
it.
are using machine guns to shoot beer cans off.
Go for it, Dan.
Right. I mean, it's basically, it was probably a new weapon in like the early 90s, late 80s. I mean, it was just like...
I think they said, find me the most futuristic gun.
Yeah, pretty much. But I just thought it was funny because in real life, it's like dumb.
The worst.
Like,
but then again, they
I don't
use
know how
like
to,
SA-80 in like movies. Like they'll use all kinds of guns in movies that like you be like we know they're junk. You're like someone was like, this gun looks cool.
Like Lincoln Mission,
use
he
it.
had that shotgun in the beginning.
it's basically like
yeah,
a
the
super
finale
soaker.
or whatever.
Yeah.
It has like a giant hopper for bullets on the back. But
That's true. Well, like
whatever.
Jurassic Park, that same shotgun,
Yeah.
the Benelli or whatever, that Italian one. It's a garbage gun, but
it looks cool.
looks super cool, so they used it in a movie.
Right.
But yeah, for me the thing was with that movie.
The Sega 12 you're talking about, or
It's that fancy looking shotgun that has a fold.
what's it called?
The movies do that all the time. But like the problem with
It's not a Benelli,
mutants-
but anyways,
Yeah.
Benellis are amazing.
The problem with mutant.
The problem with mutant is that it gets so close so many times.
It does.
You're just like there's like these little creative moments, and then you're just like, ah, like what? And then and all of a sudden, and then it just like screeches to a halt because it's super dark, and you're like,
Yes.
You're like, wait, who's that? Is that bad guy? Is that a good guy?
Yes,
and even
that
the
was
end,
a
like, for me,
disappointment.
the end, it was set up really cool, but it was so it came so abruptly. So like, and that's where unfortunately like the plot suffered because, like you said for example, it's okay like if you were like in a realistic situation, people would be running around not knowing what they're doing, which I would agree to an extent, but also disagree because they would be trying to survive, so they would try to have a goal like, hey, like we're trying to survive. We need to get to the school and barricade. Like even like Dawn of the Dead. They don't really they're just surviving, but they're like, okay, we have a goal, and they survive, they argue, then they create a plan to move forward. And that's kind of how the plot works, generally speaking. So if they would have been like, hey, let's go to the school and hold up, and then they go to the school, and then all of a sudden, like 100 little kids rushed out like they did, like the whole like with the hands was creative, them like on the stalls was creative. There was like these little moments that were almost like someone thought of them, but like not the director. Like you could tell someone on the crew was like, oh my gosh, this would look so great, and it would play really well. But overall, like it was like rudderless because it's like they just like ended up at the school because like little Billy ran away from them, So like if they would have been more like deliberate about choices, like even like the cops coming in and surprising them at the end was a cool little payoff. And like I don't really care that like they necessarily didn't like tease it. It was just like, hey, help, and he's like, wow, whatever, you're crazy, like you're drunk. But it was just so abrupt. Like literally, he like there's no like, okay, he's like, we got these Molotovs, like listen, like you run, like there was no like little plan, like all right, you make a run for it, I'll throw these things, I'll meet you by the whatever.
Well, that actually I kind of disagree because like the one thing about that at the end, not to like stand up for their movie, but at the end it basically is. Like they make those Molotov cocktails, they're getting overwhelmed and just about to die, and then that's like the lights come on, and then like the cops come and save them. So
the lights come on, but
the lights sort of
they kind of come on.
I think for me it happens so abruptly that there's no like we're coming to the point where it's like okay, like we're getting overwhelmed, we're still fine, we're not giving up, and then oh my gosh, we're about to be overwhelmed, and then boom, like
well, there's
it
no
wasn't a big
relief.
build up for the big relief.
There's no build up and sweet relief. It was just like, oh, like it's
but we
dark.
still had the sweet
and I kind
relief.
of didn't even realize that they were being overwhelmed. Like you kind of saw it, but you kind of didn't because it's so dark, and you're like, wait, okay, people are on fire.
Right.
Where are they? Like at one point, I actually lost the two main characters. I'm like, wait, like where are they? I can see people on fire. I'm like, where are they? And then all of a sudden, lights all came on, and it was like, oh, cool, like a circle, and then boom, 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 and you saw the zombies dropping. I think for me, it happened so abruptly, and then it was like, okay, now the movie's just like winds down and it's over.
There could have been a lot more emotional payoff in that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
mean there could have been like, no, we're not gonna make it, Holly.
There was not that close up of him or like her like about to get eaten, and he's just like throwing zombies off of her. Like I feel like there could have been a little bit more like moments with them where it's just like we're barely like we're literally getting overwhelmed. We could survive. No, and then last second rescue. It was just like darkness, zombies on fire. It looks kind of cool.
But to be fair, I would say Stone Cold also does not have a whole lot of emotion into it either. The main guy is Stone Cold. He's like, every time he looks or talks, it's the same look. Sometimes he'd smirk, but then everything else is like, it's like he got no satisfaction out of the end. Everybody died and he didn't really care.
He did, no one else did.
Even like
the audience did.
Even the chains at the end didn't even really seem that afraid to die. He just kind of seemed like, whatever,
when that
shoot
trigger
me.
pulled and he exhaled, you could tell he was like,
Well, that was good. But other than that, it just seemed like this whole thing was a suicide mission and nobody really cared to die. It was like everyone was just too prideful and there wasn't really like any emotional payoff. So I would have to say fight you with that.
Yeah, it was more of like it was a very by the numbers action.
Yes.
He was really channeling Schwarzenegger from the first Terminator. Because in the second Terminator, you really explore Arnold as
a character.
Like a character.
Yeah.
I mean, the Terminator 1 is great, but Terminator 1, he's just like...
He's a machine.
He's a machine, yeah, he's a robot.
He's not supposed to have personality.
And he has no arc with it except learning a few things.
That one's running low on battery.
So,
I do have one more thing. Okay, another creative special effect that we forgot to mention, which was so cool, was the part where the zombies surrounded them when they were in the car and their hand punctured through the glass because it was all acidic. So that was like, that was awesome. I've like never really seen that. Nothing that I can think of. I thought that was a really neat.
We had a lot of fun. Yeah, you could tell the crew was really working hard.
Yeah, they were. I think they
trying.
really wanted this to be a good movie.
The plot was, I mean, the script is too meandering.
Yes.
Like, as by the numbers as this movie is, Stone Cold, you did hit the beats, and then with a little twist at the end with like the subverting every little.
I also think the edit didn't help this.
Right.
But that's good. I like all the points I heard. I think I can make a decision.
Oh gosh. So you're okay.
Winning
decision based on argument, right?
Based on the arguments.
Should have thought harder.
So we've got Stone Cold.
Steve.
They're so different.
We've got Mutant.
Yeah, very different. Very different movies.
We've got what could be almost considered better than a B movie, and then a true B movie.
A B plus movie. B plus. Huh?
Should we make a decision together?
No.
Okay.
It's gonna be a cleanup on aisle 5 because Stone Cold is taking the day. That's right. Say goodbye to your future because you're not gonna be in it. No, good job, guys. That was a lot of fun. We're gonna send Dan off into a Viking funeral. Put a stogie.
That is so weird.
And light them up, baby. But thank you guys. That was a lot of fun. Thank you guys. That was a lot of fun. We'll see you next time on B Movie Battle.
We fail.
Shake. And I got a winner.
There you go.
3-2, baby.
That was a good one, though.
Aaron, have you won every single one so far?
I think I've won like almost all of them. I can't remember actually. I think I have one of the best records actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you do, Aaron.
I think I only lost like one maybe.
Yeah, but the last one didn't count.
Everyone wants to be on Aaron's team.
Because Andy was on your side too.
Oh, man.